Welcome to Business Chats with Debbie, where we talk to small businesses about their stories. I'm your host, Debbie Warburton, and today I've got the wonderful Daz Stephens from Kinetic Energy. Do you know what I mean? I googled Kinetic Energy yesterday and just came up with a load of bloody physics things. I thought, he's here somewhere. So I put the name and it came up with it. And you've got nutrition coach on the end of it.
Yeah, it comes up eventually.
It comes up eventually. So obviously we've got here 3 core principles: fitness, nutritional, and which are that wellness.
Yeah.
So important
Hugely.
to all of us.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's especially, well, I was going to say especially after COVID, but looking back over the history, obesity has been creeping in for 20, 30 years, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I think back to when I was a child, which was a long time ago, Jay, don't worry, a long time ago, is everything was made by, my mum made everything by scratch, and there was no ready meals.
No, not at all.
Everything was made as and when we were eating it. And ready meals have crept in, McDonald's have crept in, KFC have crept in. And it's all of those things, the factors, easy, ready meals when you've been working all day.
Lifestyle has changed.
Yeah, lifestyles change, and these are having a major impact on everybody, really, not just on certain people, on everybody's lives.
Yeah. Physical, mental health. I think really, sometimes it's lost. Maybe that's the power of nutrition and how we feed the body. And it's really important that we go back to wholesome foods, like eating essential fats in the diet, the oily fish.
Oh, it's fatty. No, it's got fat in it, can't eat it.
And that's what the brain needs.
Yeah.
But it's quite sad that the word fats is called fats in a way, because it doesn't give us a true representation of what that is for the body, and it's essential. But we've gone down the lines of lifestyle changes have been a swing in the wrong direction totally, and it affects all areas of life then thereafter, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's a very hard circle to break because the sugar's addictive. I mean, it's sugar's the main one, isn't it? Sugar is really, really addictive, and trying to get that out of your diet because it's hidden in so many different products that you don't even know you're eating it.
No. And and you're right there is that cravings are increased because we have a poor diet. So when we have foods that are high in tastes through salt and sugars and fats, the brain wants more of it, and we get into that vicious cycle of we start eating it. Let's keep going. And that's really hard to break, and even like switching to diet type foods, as in diet Pepsi and low fat foods, there's always something in there. Yeah. And it's, we're still ticking that box of wanting sugar. And it is a hard cycle to break.
Yeah, because I was talking to somebody a while back, and they were saying about people who've got type 1 diabetes, you can't do anything. Type 2 diabetes, it's a lifestyle thing. If you change your lifestyle, you can get yourself out of the type 2 diabetes.
You can.
But it's not broadcast. The NHS won't tell you that you can get yourself away from type 2 diabetes through your diet and exercise. Yeah. But they put obviously the Sweet X, instead of having sugar, we'll have Sweet X in your coffee. That's got chemicals in it that crave you to eat. So it's just so you're putting in this because you think you're doing well, but it's not. It's actually sourcing cravings to make you eat more.
Your
so
brain
you eat
still
more
thinks
food.
It's getting sugar.
Yeah,
and that's the
So it's just like, hang on a minute.
We do need to totally change direction with how we live our lives.
So what can you do to help us?
Well, it's about getting a balance, and that's what Kinetic Energy is about, and the website is about creating a balance of, like we say, nutritional, physical, and emotional health. It's looking after ourselves in all spheres of it, because we can't fix it with just one solution. For all of us, there's lots of things in our life that we need to change, but we need to change it in a way that's moderate, fits in with our lifestyle, doesn't create stress, but also we're kind to ourselves in the process. Yeah. Because quite often, if we don't do that, what happens is we fall off the wagon. Yeah. And if you say to yourself, right, I'm not ever having chocolate again, you've got to be a really strong individual to say, right, I'm never eating chocolate again.
Yeah. Or I'm not drinking alcohol.
Yes, but it's the moderation. It's getting it right 70%, 80% of the time. We're not talking about, it being perfection. Well, what's optimal for health? What can I do? Can I, if I'm not going to the gym 3 times a week, I can walk every day. Can I have overnight oats for me breakfast instead of stopping to McDonald's for a McMuffin on the way to work because I'm running late? Yeah. It's those small, meaningful changes, Debbie, that really do make us move forward. Yeah. And it is about creating that focus of like little things will help.
Yeah.
Because
diabetes is such a big, I dread to think how many people out there are not diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Because you've only got to look at people, do you know what I mean, and say, oh, there's type 2 diabetes.
But the knock-on effects on your health.
Yeah. My dad's got type 2 diabetes.
And the NHS is, amputations. People are having legs and feet and all sorts.
My dad's had to have a toe amputated.
Because that's the way diabetes
works. He got an infection.
Works. Yeah.
And the infection wouldn't heal because the circulation's
blindness, all sorts of things. I don't think people realise that this is down to what we're putting into the system. We're not living the best we can live, and it's not difficult. And I think we create it to a point of like make it really difficult. Yeah. But it can't be because I'm talking about it. You know what I mean? But
and it's making time for it. Do you know what I mean? If you were, do you know what I mean? We both live busy lives. We both, do you know what I mean? When you've got your own business, it's really, really hectic. It's very, very busy, but you've got to make, and sometimes it is, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying we stop off and get a ready meal on the way home. That's possibly once a month. I'm not saying stop that.
That's moderation.
In between,
yes,
eat healthy, cook your own meals at home, get your stuff ready. Batch bake. Do you know what I mean? My parents used to batch bake all the time. Do you know what I mean? Batch bake. So you're eating healthy and you haven't got to worry about it. Just take it out of the fridge when you get home.
It's those small things, using the slow cooker, put it on before you go to work, whatever it is. And again, it's making what works for you in your life. Don't do what other people do. Do what you need to do for your own life because that's the way that it works.
Because you can reverse it.
You can
reverse it. It's not something you have to live with for the rest of your life. You can sort it out just by changing little things.
I mean, lots of my clients, businesses I work with, and the staff come back in and say, "Do you know what, Daz? I've increased my water intake." That's one simple thing, and all of a sudden they sleeping better, they got more energy. And then they
headaches have gone.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they say, "Do you know what? I've started eating better too." Yeah. And it happens without them thinking about it. So that's where those small changes come in. I mean, how simple is that? Drinking more water. Yeah. Instead of sugary drinks or coffee or trying to stay awake.
The trend at the moment is those monster drinks, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? The amount of kids I know who just that's all they drink, 2 or 3 of them
them on the way to school.
And you're just asking for so much trouble later down the line. It's just
Mother used to kick me out the door for school with ready break inside me. Yeah. Not anymore. Kids are, bags of crisps and tins of Monster. And then you get to school and you think, well, how can the brain learn
I said that to my youngest because she said to me, I'm just tired and I just don't feel like I'm getting this. Well, because I've gone by the time she gets over at school. What you having for breakfast? Well, nothing. Well, how do you expect? If I didn't put petrol in my car, it wouldn't run.
Exactly.
So if you're not putting food in your body, how do you expect it to run? Your brain's got to work to make your legs move and your heart beat. And if it's using all your energy up doing that, it's got nothing left for anything else.
Well, the brain uses, I think it's about 20-30% of your daily calorie intake is used by the brain.
Yeah.
But that's not the only thing in your body that needs it.
No.
So in relation to like body weight, it's got a ravenous appetite.
Yeah.
So we need to feed it. And that and
it's the right stuff.
And the right stuff, essential fats, leafy green veggies and stuff. It needs it. And if we don't, that's when we start to struggle. And if this control center is not right, everything else starts to lag behind, doesn't it? And the messages from there on are...
And then your mental health starts to fail.
Hugely.
Your mental health. I say to my kids, your brain's a wonderful thing, but if it's not working right, it's got an imbalance, it can be absolutely catastrophic.
Your brain health is really important, because it then... makes you feel good about yourself, or do you lose that motivation, drive, and just lack of desire to do anything? And it's all down to, what's going on in our heads.
Yeah.
So that's why, in conjunction with exercise, in conjunction with being more mindful, taking time to appreciate your surroundings, Kinetic Energy just brings it all together. Yeah. A simple ethos of putting little things in place, and we can all make changes that reward ourselves. And that's why I've approached businesses, because if staff are doing that, business is better.
Yeah.
Business is healthy.
More production out of your staff. Yeah. Staff are happy.
Yeah. Is everybody, taking time in the afternoon to really struggle, or are they feeding right? Don't need donuts and coffee at midday just to get going again. Yeah. And it's the simple things.
It is. I was speaking to somebody a while back, and they were saying they're one of the guys who was on the shop floor was not working do you know what I mean? He knew there was issues, and he said the manager came in and said, well, just need to get rid of him. So he said, I thought, I'm not going down that route. I'm going to sit with him and find out what the issue is. And the issue was he has diabetes. And he wasn't eating. Yeah. So because he wasn't eating on a regular basis, he was all over the place. So they put a plan in place and set up time limit times during the day when he was in work and when he had to
keep his blood sugars level
and eat. He said, and he said the production out of him and the change in him. He said in a week. He said it's just understanding people and basically saying, well, no, I'm not going to give up on you. I'm going to get to the bottom of the issue and see if we can solve it. Makes your staff. It makes your staff better people.
Yes.
And makes them appreciate 100%. You for putting yourself out to understand what they want.
That's all they want is support and help, isn't it? Because it's if you can provide that in the workplace, appreciate them. In my 2 previous careers, if I've had a good boss, you'll work hard for a good boss. Yeah. If you've had a bad boss, you're like, why am I bothering? Yeah. But so often, if you have that set up in your workplace, people will return.
People feel appreciated.
They do appreciate it, yes. Because nowadays, a bigger pay packet's not always the answer.
Yeah. And especially being, do you know what I mean, in an office environment, sitting in a chair all day is the worst thing possible you could ever do. Do you know what I mean? You need to get up, you need to walk around. And there are exercises you can do in the workplace while you're sitting there, and it's eating the right sort of food.
But it's providing a supportive environment. Yeah. Because there won't be one member of staff that's struggling.
Yeah.
We all struggle, but with different things. But the whole setup of health and well-being is, going for a walk at lunchtime ticks, yay boxes. So all of a sudden, if everybody does it together, they feel like, am I being watched here? Am I doing the right thing here? But in a supported environment, people will engage. Yeah. And quality of life improves, work life and home life. And the balance then
has an impact on everything else in your life.
Are you taking it home with you at the end of the day and having,
arguments at home, snapping at the kids, and I can't be bothered cooking tonight. Have something else.
It affects relationships everywhere else, and then that affects how you feel. So,
it's a vicious circle if you don't break it.
Yeah. So break that vicious circle and use the circle of kinetic energy.
Yes. So you can find him. If you look, just don't search for Kinetic Energy because you'll end up with a load of physics stuff.
Kinetic Wellbeing is the new website.
Okay.
Kinetic Wellbeing.
Or Kinetic Energy Nutrition Coach. You'll find him that way as well, because that's how I found him. And log on because he's got loads of helpful stuff on there that you can read and download and everything else to set you off in the right direction. And then if you need the extra help, then obviously get in touch, and Daz can, because there's so many people through the YP network that you're helping at the moment. And obviously I've seen so major changes in one guy.
Been some big weight losses.
There is. And do you know what I mean? They knew they needed to do something about it. It's getting the motivation to do it, and you give them the motivation, don't you?
Gav Harris, for instance. I mean, he looks fantastic.
He does look fantastic. It worries me how his clothes are falling off him, as long as they don't fall off in the wrong.
They seem to fall off quite easily, don't they?
Yes, they do. Sometimes with a bit of help.
But no, he's done amazing, and I've had other clients that have lost 3-4 stone, and they just think, and it's not been a battle to do that.
No,
Gav will tell you it's the smallest of things.
Yeah.
And
because I know before you came along, it was I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and nothing changed. And it's demotivating, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you're not eating the stuff that you would normally eat, and and nothing's happening,
it batters the willpower to carry on. Yeah. It really does.
But when you can see the things changing, it's a big thing. Do you know what I mean? Like during COVID, when COVID hit, I knew I needed to do something, and I just went out for a 40-minute walk every morning before I started work. 40-minute walk, and then as soon as I could see the change, that was it then.
we all need to continue that too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you very much for having me in. It's been
pleasure.
Great to catch up.
So you know where to find him, Kinetic Energy nutritional coach, or Kinetic Energy Wellbeing, is it?
kineticwellbeing.co.uk.
There we go. We can find him if you want him. And thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.